Good evening and a warm welcome to the Elsmuggo and Brooksy transfer deadline day show. There's not really much going on in the transfer market at the moment, so I think we're just going to kind of be smug, discuss how Arsenal destroyed Man United yesterday, how Erling Haaland got humbled, his dad got rattled, and everyone's been triggered by an 18-year-old. Absolutely glorious stuff, and you're going to listen to us boast about it for another hour and a half. And just to let all you guys know out there, it's Chelsea 0, West Ham 1. Bowie's on fire.
And he's banging the apparently.
He certainly is.
Before we go into anything, I'm going to give a warm welcome to my guests. Apologies firstly for my croaky voice. I give Haaland a lot of abuse yesterday, so yeah, I've got a bit of a croaky one.
You weren't the only one, trust me.
Yeah, I don't regret a second of it. So first and foremost, going to say good evening to my co-host Johnny Brooks. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's been a lovely couple of days, isn't it? It's very, very nice. Yes.
You had an enjoyable evening yesterday evening?
It was nice. I don't know, it's just a strange game. It just took a while to warm up, and then it was like a volcano at the end, when it was just amazing. I just couldn't believe it come the end. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
We're going to talk a lot more about it, so yeah, we'll hold up for a little bit. Good evening to Ryan. You was at the game yesterday, weren't you, Ryan?
Yes, I was. Oh dear, my voice is all right. My voice box is all over the place today. Still, give it 2 days, I'll be back to normal by Wednesday, just to lose it again. But yeah, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. Not to say, I think like I said before, you weren't the only one giving a certain Norwegian Ford abuse. I think there's like 60,000 in unison with multiple songs. Cracking songs, by the way. Can't repeat them, but they're cracking songs.
I don't think I've ever heard a player get it so badly. Not for a long time. Not for an absolute long time. And lastly, a big warm welcome to Mr. Dublin podcast himself, Jonathan Giles. Great to have you on, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great, nice to be on, lads, and to be on another show. I just wrapped mine up there 10 minutes ago. I struggled to get 2 bodies on it, so it was nice to boast about a 5-1 victory yesterday. Yeah, so hopefully we can replicate that for Wednesday evening and roll on Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. And good point raised there, because obviously massive game Wednesday, isn't it? And I'm quite thankful now there ain't no game on Saturday, so we can solely concentrate this without a fixture to think about at the weekend. So yeah, we'll definitely get talking about that a little bit later as well. Just going to say a big warm welcome to everyone live in the chat. Good evening, Gav. See you went in a little bit early. And now you're 1-0 down to West Ham, mate. So you need to pull that one around, don't you? Bowen's on fire. Good evening to Mr. Tom. Oh, I bet he's a smuggy this evening after that destroyment. Was it Cardiff the other day?
Cardiff City at
7-0.
7-0. Oh, that's it. that was a proper pants pulling thing, weren't it? And they weren't the only ones, were they? Brighton got thumped by Nottingham Forest 7-0 as well. So yeah,
didn't see that coming though.
No, I didn't. No, not
Heaven.
Definitely not. But yeah, so let's go into obviously Sunday's game. Obviously at the Emirates, 4:30 kickoff against Manchester City. Before we go and look into the lineup, just want to go around the houses quickly, and I'm going to start with you first, Jonathan Giles. How was you feeling going into this game? Because obviously we got a really good result, didn't we, at Wolves, where we got that win where we down to 10 men for quite a substantial amount of time until Wolves had their player sent off. But that was a really, really top victory for me. And obviously going into this game, did you feel that you were confident that we'll get the 3 points against City?
I don't know what City winning their last 4 games, Liam. They were coming into a bit of form, and I kind of feared that, I think over the last few Premier League meetings, we've kind of gotten top of Man City. One of the last season at the Emirates, we were kind of robbed back in September when John Stones got that late equaliser. I thought we deserved to win that game. Thanks to Michael Oliver for sending Trossard there, killed off the whole second half. But Yesterday, I thought the early goal after 2 minutes, really settled us down. I thought the pressing was really good from the front. Odegaard again, instrumental in getting them to make a mistake early on. And I have to say the Haaland boys, Miles Lewis Skelly and Nathan Unworthy, they just don't look out of place in this Arsenal team. It's like they've played there for years. I thought City were really poor. I thought that second goal from Thomas Partey really knocked their confidence, after getting that equal. I think because we scored so quickly after Haaland's equaliser, it killed Man City. They didn't have that energy again to get going. I thought we kept Haaland. I thought Gabriel and Saliba were fantastic yesterday at the back. Done last September, they were really up for it, I thought, the goals were all Miles Lewis Skelly and Black Goalie score was terrific, and Havertz and then Worthy then the way they took their chances finishes. Not really surprised, no. And City are really, that they're at the end of that glory patch they had, and I think it's Arsenal's time now. I think it'll be ourselves and Liverpool in the next few seasons to dominate. I think the Premier League name, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, isn't it? And like you said, like for Manchester City as well, who have dominated the league. But obviously, I watched a few clips backstage to listen to a little bit of Gary Neville and I think it was Mick Richards after the game, and they were saying that they just got Man City at the moment just can't deal with the pace of teams, can they? They've conceded a lot of goals as well, didn't they? They conceded 4 at Paris, didn't they? They conceded 5 here. And let's be honest, even when they went to Anfield, that could have easily been 4-5-0 in the first 30 minutes. And it was probably a little bit more where Liverpool didn't bury them when they should have done. But I do feel like you feel like, and this is the frustrating thing for me. And I know we'll go on to about the transfer window tonight. And it's really, really frustrating that we haven't got what we need in. But it's a flick of a coin, really, isn't it? Because do you get someone in and then you don't really want them after the end of the season, or do you just wait now and then get the ideal guy in the summer, which will take us to the next level? I don't know. I do feel that we need support in that position at the moment. I do worry if Havertz picked up some sort of injury. What's your kind of thought process around that? Because without Jesus now, if he gets injured, we're probably then looking, aren't we, at Martinelli or Trossard up front.
I would have, yeah. I wouldn't like us just to make a signing just for the sake of it, splashing out, 60 or 70 odd million for, a player that just don't to be a short term game, I would like to see putting our funds into signing Benjamin Sesko definitely in the summer, but I would have liked the likes of even Ollie Watkins, if he was available, but with Duran gone now, departed to Villa, I can't see Aston Villa sending, their only really top striker. I think with Kai Havertz scoring yesterday, it will give him a big confidence boost. I think with after the Newcastle game and going away to Dubai, it will give us a much needed reset. And if we can get that bounce back that we had from last January, when we came back from that little reset and we went on that fantastic run up to the Aston Villa game in April, with Kai Saka hopefully coming back in March, he'd be like a new signing, and the likes of Ben White as well coming back from a long-term injury as well. I would have liked to see a striker, but with about 2 hours left in the transfer market, if we can pull something out, it'd be nice. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think we've got a good, strong squad when the likes of our injuries come back. So I think we're in a good place. Even if it doesn't seem like that at the moment.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's both sides of it, isn't there? And if we're being frankly honest, it should have been a position we looked at last summer. I think we'll probably all kind of share that kind of thought process, but obviously we haven't got that guy in at the moment, and it is who do you kind of get in. Going to go move over to you, John Brooks, on obviously the discussion around obviously the striker situation. Obviously in the game yesterday, Havertz had an absolute golden opportunity, didn't he? And the one thing I do find with Kai Havertz is when he gives himself time to think, is when he kind of makes the wrong decision. When you look at the actual goal he scored, he didn't have much time to think. It was just instinct. And if he had done the same thing in the first instance with that first opportunity, surely we'd have been 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, definitely it does. It does. It's a shame because he worked so hard, and like I said his second chance he had, he buried it, and it was a harder thing to finish. But yeah, you just knew he was going to miss. He's a striker, but he's not a striker. He doesn't quite have the striker's instincts, and it's not his fault. But yeah, you just knew it was a terrible miss. I mean, it was awful. I mean, to miss it, I mean, if he hits it straight at the goal and the keeper saves it, fair enough. But to hit it wide, and you thought, oh no, is that the chance? Is that going to bite us on the arse? But no, I mean, he was excellent again, Havertz. He knocked him. I mean, the second half, that tackle we won. I mean, he was right near our own penalty box, and then we broke through him, and he had that shot, and Milton scored again. And he deserved that goal, and it's great for him, and he needed that as well. You could see the weight lifted of his shoulders in the celebration, and we just have to keep him fit. We're not getting no one else in. He is our striker now. We all want another striker. Let's not muck about, and we'll get one in the summer. But yeah, he's the man that's going to fire us to the glory now. So we just got to hope and pray.
And going over to you, Ryan, because to be fair, his actual all-round game yesterday, I thought was absolutely spot on. Havertz, he was pretty much everywhere in that game. And I think at one point he was collecting the ball from left back, which, if I'm being totally honest, I'm not really comfortable about that myself. Do you know what I mean? But I actually thought his all-round game yesterday was really, really good. And if he can get into, I think with him as such, he needs a game where he bangs in 2-3 goals. He's pretty much that player, isn't he? He gets a single goal every game, but very rarely gets more than one a game. Do you think that would uplift his confidence if he can get a game where he could bang 2 in or a hat trick?
That's Wednesday.
That's Wednesday. We need him Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely.
No, yeah, now on the head. Literally, we need him to not just score the odd goal like he did yesterday, because he does. We've said it since he's arrived. Playing in that position, we get the best out of him in this system with him. It's not against it because he isn't a striker. It's just we do need an out-and-out striker that will do not just score the one goal, but score the 2, the 3 occasionally, especially against with all due respect, I don't know if Stefan will probably listen to this, but your Ipswich Towns, your Southamptons, West Hams, Chelsea's and all that. Like the teams who should be, as a striker, should be put into the sword all the chances you get. And like it or not, by the way we were going, yeah, we are going to need, and I think that also, if it does happen, that was to happen. Obviously, is put a run of games together. We scored braces and the odd hat trick here and there between now and the end of the season. It takes a bit of pressure off him and the people that doubt him and hate him, and no matter what he can do. Oh, there you go. We lost a host. There you go.
Yeah, when he goes
50p out. There he is.
For some reason, I'm Ryan today as well.
So I'll just transfer deadline day madness name. You can't change
Exactly.
Sorry, Ryan. No, that's what I was saying. Literally, yeah, I agree with it. If we can get him to get that sort of run together, scoring a couple goals in a run of games with a couple of goals here and hat trick there, his confidence will thrive. And when that striker does come in, touchwood, in the summer, he can say, well, you got to knock me off the perch, basically, instead of just being automatically replaced by said striker. But at the same time, we do need a striker for the long one way or the other. Come the summer, we're not going to get him in the next couple of hours. Come the summer, we need an out and out. We saw it yesterday. Yeah, we won 5-1. It's fantastic. 5 different goal scorers and all that. But you can't tell me an out-and-out striker. We talked about that chance before that he missed in the first half to make it all the way to 2. An out-and-out striker that killer instinct would have missed that like he did.
Yeah.
It's just again in the moment you don't see it, but obviously I watched it back when I got home on match of the day and watched it back to full match and all that afterwards. It's just the way it falls, the way the ball comes to him. He's like he panics. He gets the ball. He's like, "What do I do?" Oh, because I think he's waiting for Odegaard to get in his eye vision, but doesn't get there quick enough. He just goes, he drags the shot, and it's just we go wide. Whereas the strikers goes instinct, bang, and it's maybe a different game, but in the sense of City don't get back into it the way they did. But again, he does offer us stuff. In other aspects, his hold up play. Him, Odegaard, and whoever's on the left hand side, be it Martinelli or whoever, they'll run down and they do the pressure, the off the ball pressure. You can't fault them. He gives everything. They gave him and the others. They give everything, and it's just a shame that he isn't an out and out striker. He is a centre forward, but he's not an out and out. He's not the killer that we need for the long run to keep us going for the next 2-3 years.
So I'm just going to do a bit of a round robin here, guys, and I'm going to go. Like, I know you obviously, Jonathan, you obviously tapped on Benjamin Sesko. Would that be is that your first choice centre forward that you'd like to see come to the club?
Yeah, I think he kind of has the attributes. He's tall, he's strong, he's lethal on both feet. I remember seeing him when I was away there in Malta in March. They played. I think he plays for Slovenia. I think. And he scored a cracking 2 goals there. And what I've seen of him in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig, and RB Salzburg, he'd be destroyed. He's young, he's in that mold what Arteta's looking for, and I think, I think Benjamin Sesko will be my number one. I would have loved Alexander Isak if he was available, or the like of Ollie Watkins, who could probably guarantee or 20 goals a season like Thierry Henry did back in the day. But if I was going after anyone in the summer, Liam, my number one target would be Benjamin Sesko. Yeah, he marks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, he's a brilliant prospect, isn't he? Like I think last summer I was saying that pretty much he was the striker I was looking at. Can we go to you, John? If you had the one option, who would you like to see take that place?
Isak, probably at the moment. I mean, I don't think we'll get him, but I think we're going to get Sesko. I think that's more or less done. But Isak would be the one for me because he's Premier League proven, and I just think he'd be amazing for us. I mean, I'll be happy with Sesko. I'll be happy with Gikaris. I'll be happy with Ollie Watkins. I'll be happy with my mum. Anyone would do that talking about, but yeah. I mean, realistically, I think Sesko fits the profile. As John said, he's strong. He's got a good eye for goal, and like I said, he fits what Arteta's looking for. What he wants. But like I said, I'll be happy with any of the other people mentioned. I mean, the exciting thing is, we've got to try and be positive now. We're definitely going to get a striker in the summer. I know we should have got one last summer, but let's face it, 99.9% sure we're definitely getting one. And it's going to be a big signing. And hopefully another winger as well, Mr. Nico and Zubimendi. So it could be an amazing summer.
Yeah.
And if you put all those three into this team now, I don't think anyone's stopping us next year. I don't care what people say. I know everyone else will buy them in.
Now, be humble now.
No, they can do one. I mean, they're a joke. They get fresh this year. They just whack another £60 million on a player a day. It's just, they can keep buying players, but So no, it's going to be an exciting summer. We know players are coming, so good times are coming.
And just go to you, Ryan. Who would be your number one target in the summer if we don't do any business in the next 2 hours?
In an ideal world, Isaac, because as you mentioned, Premier League proven. His idol is Henry 14. Get them number 14 shirts, which is available. But assuming they're going to get European football one way or the other, but it looks at the way their things are going at the moment, it's more likely going to be Sesko. Mongukares, but it doesn't seem like Arteta has him in his mindset. Basically, he's like very Sesko's like the one they want for the long term.
Yeah,
which I get. You don't want to bring a striker in and 2-3 years come and ask the same question.
He'll go United in the summer.
Yeah.
What, in the Championship? I don't know.
That's Domino.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're not, yeah.
Had to get that dig in.
That's for sure.
No, exactly. But no, I get with Seska because I've seen a few bits of him throughout the window here from the Sky shows and Bundesliga and all that. He's young. He's getting his long term, an all round prospect. He score in the box, outside the box. He's good early as well. Gets a good leap on him, the lad.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. Strong,
You take him out of that. Just to say, take him out of that Leipzig team, put him in and around. With all due respect to the Leipzig team as well, massive upgrades in and around him. Saka's, your Martinelli's, Odegaard's, Declan, Superman's going to be here. There's rumours Partey might even get an extension for another year. There's rumours, nothing confirmed for all the haters.
Yeah, I see that.
We've got Ben White coming down the wing. On the right hand side, you got Lewis Skelly, you got Ethan Wanyeri, all that talent giving you service, game in, game out. What numbers we've seen from him already will probably not straight away. Obviously, might need a bit of time just to adapt. But once he gets going, it could be scary for the opposition. But it's a long term. As I say, because he's age, it could be a long term thing. I am disappointed that we didn't get Watkins just because I thought, even at his age 29, you get him a 2-year, 3-year deal. It takes the pressure off of Sesko in the summer that they don't have to come in and hit the ground running because you've got the Premier League proven there. Really, you're learning off them and all that, but it wasn't a treat. We just have to move and hope for the business to be done in the summer.
Do we think as well, and I'm going to go with you, Jonathan Giles, on this one, with obviously the emergence of Wanyeri, especially in terms of what he's producing now, like when we look at the last 2 games in the Champions League and then at Man City yesterday, do we think that might be another reason why we've decided?
I think we've been quite fortunate that the way his progression has been so quick, since Saka's been out since December. His goals against Girona and the goal yesterday, he's like Miles Lewis Skelly is, he's really grown in to the first team, Arteta's done a really good job with him, bringing him on for X amount of minutes, but I nearly think he deserves. We've lost our host again.
I do wonder. He looked like he got into a trance, so he's back.
He just wants to skip around and train.
I was going to poke him.
You're just mesmerised.
I'll go to bed in a minute.
No, I think you're right, Lane. I think that's why we haven't been too pushed to sign anyone, as an emergency or a backup. I think now Where probably deserves to start. Now, I was actually surprised yesterday. I don't know what you think. I thought he might have even started yesterday, because the fullbacks problems, I thought when he comes on, you can see he's itching, since I thought the goal against Girona really just showed how world class he is, and to have him as a backup to Bukayo Saka. So we're so fortunate that our academy is producing these type of players, and I think you're right there. I think that's why we didn't really jump into the transfer market too hastily. I think now Weirdy, as the season progresses, and with this with this break coming up in Dubai, will do them the world of good. And you wouldn't be surprised if we see now Weirdy kicking on, for the rest of the season. I think he'll have a big part to play as well in the Champions League knockout stages. I really do. I think he'll be one of the stars with Skelly. I think we'll be raving about until the season's end. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think you're right there. I think I was quite surprised he didn't start yesterday, but you know what? As it goes, Trossard had a really good game yesterday, didn't he? I was really impressed with Trossard yesterday, and I thought he really run Nunes ragged for quite a majority of that game. But do you know what? Right? I think the glorious thing is now, though, right, with this Saka situation and Ethan coming through, is as it goes, right. It's a bit like the Saliba situation with Ben White, but I have a little bit of an issue with the Saliba situation with Ben White. Like, I don't think you're going to get a better understudy than Ben White for Saliba, because I know he covers the right back and the centre back, but you try and get another centre back in at Ben White's level to sit under Saliba, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And this is a situation now we've got with Saka, and I think the problem in the past is players are reluctant who play right wing to come into Arsenal because they know they're not ever going to get in front of Saka. But now we've probably got these two players like Saka and one area who are probably going to be two of the best ever players that have come out of Haaland and out of our academy. Yeah. And as it goes, we don't have to rush Saka back anymore. So if Saka comes back, do you know what I mean? It's not going to be like we need to throw you in the team straight away because I actually believe he'll play Wednesday night, and I'm like you can't keep him out of the team much longer. What he did yesterday for that 10 minutes, right? You try and find me another 5 players that would do that in the whole of the Premier League. It wouldn't happen, mate. It wouldn't happen. And it's only a matter of time now. It's only a matter of time. I think that right wing space will be his own until Saka comes back. But then it's going to be interesting how that's managed after.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I just another point as well, Liam, how humble. No, that's not to be used a lot after the City game yesterday. How humble the likes of Lewis Kelly and now where they are, they're so grounded, aren't they? They don't, when he comes on the pitch now where he's not nervous, he's straight into the game, and it's like he's been playing the whole 90 minutes. It's just incredible the rise from that appearance he made against, I think it was Brentford when he was 16, a couple of seasons back to now. Like that Haaland is really worth its weight in gold, and I think it's going to save us a lot of money in the transfer market if we keep producing the likes of Lewis Kelly and Eden and Where, yeah,
definitely. And I'm just going to go on to that Lewis Kelly. Obviously, absolutely incredible game that he had yesterday, but pretty much now there's the talk that, and I don't like the thought of rushing players into the England squad, but when you look at the left back situation for England and the absolute nightmare that we had with it in the Euros, he's got to be a shoo-in, isn't he, in that squad in March?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. He plays football in the right way, He just gets the ball and just goes forward. The positive thinking, the football brain he's got in him already is scary, to be quite frank, because there's not many people who come into a top team, get the ball at the back in a big game and just go, you know what, sod it, I'm just going to go. It's brilliant. I mean, we haven't had an attacking fullback like that since Ashley Cole, let's be honest.
Yeah.
England or Arsenal. So, the door is definitely there open. And Tommy Tuchel, he's been around and he likes his attacking football, and I think it's a no-brainer, and I don't think he'll muck about. I think his next England squad will have a lot of players. Even you'd like to see Liam Delap's, a lot of people. Apparently, he's heavily linked Jude Bellingham's brother at Sunderland. Again, he's another one being tipped. So, I think he's going to be quite brave. I think it's going to rile a few people because, God forbid, people can do different things. But I think it's going to be very exciting times.
And for you, Ryan, obviously you was at the game yesterday to see Lewis Kelly in the full glory. I know we've really spoke highly about him over the last couple of months, haven't we? But I thought his game went to another level yesterday.
It was like from his point of view, just from talking about him and what he went through last week, that motivated him. But once it got overturned, he was determined to stick it to certain people, so he say. And he was like a demon possessed, basically. He fought for everything, and he's tracking back. This is, again, people need to remember, he's not a natural left back. For people outside the Arsenal fan base that don't know much about Lewis Kelly from his academy days, he's 18, was saying this, by the way. He's a midfielder. He's a centralised midfielder from the academy. It's just so happened that we had an injury crisis on that left hand side at the start of the season, and Mikel basically threw him in there to see what happened, and he's grabbed it. Unlike Ainsley, Maitland-Niles all them years back, Miles ain't complaining. He's getting on with it, and you know what? We saw his mum, the reaction his mum gave when he got his Champions League debut. How proud she was, and again, there's a photo of his mum and dad in the stands yesterday, watching up at the screen, seeing his goal scored. And again, we hear how influential his mum is behind the scenes in terms of not just with Arsenal, youth academy, other academies, and this, that, and the other, making sure they're getting the right things in place, basically. And you see that with him because he doesn't, the way he conducts himself for a young lad who's playing for one of the biggest clubs in England, you could quite easily lose your head and get it go to your head, but he hasn't. And like I say, I think yesterday's performance was a big part played, thanks to Michael Oliver and Howard Webb and their gang for pissing him off, because and Arsenal in general. But yeah, literally, he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And again, from our perspective, we're fans. He's a fan as well. And again, we've been saying for the last few since Mertesacker took over the management of the academy. Look how many academy players are coming through and getting that chance.
Yeah.
It's not just a Saka and a Smith Rowe, and then it dies down for another 20 years. You've got Saka, Smith Rowe, Wanyeri, Reece even came through. Hasn't worked out for Reece, but he's coming through. You got, as I say, Ethan, Miles Lewis, Skelly,
Patino.
Sorry, go on.
Charlie Patino.
Charlie Patino. Whereas he wasn't getting that we wasn't getting this at this level, and just seamlessly in an era where the club is trying to get back to where they were in terms of competing and trying to win this league title again after 20 odd years. It doesn't look like it phases either of them. It doesn't phase either. He's and obviously, at the start of the season, one of his first few starts was against City at the Etihad, and he comes on. There's a bit of a kerfuffle, and Erling does that famous "Who the fuck are you?" And I think he knows who he is today, as we speak. He knows who he is after that. And when Ethan scored, I think obviously we were celebrating and all that. Liam, it was pretty much in front of you. Did you expect him to do that celebration, or was you just too carried away and didn't even notice it?
No, I did notice. I did notice it because I was carried away at the time, but I did notice it, what he was doing, and that's what. Do you know what? I was having a conversation with last night about him. There's not many players right nowadays that have that arrogance, and I believe every great player has a certain amount of arrogance on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And as long as you channel that in the right way and channel that with your performance on the pitch, you can back it up on the pitch, then you've got every right to act like that. Do you know what I mean? And behave like that. Now, yeah, he is young. Yeah, he's very raw still. Do you know what I mean? And it's the start of his career. But there's something magical about this kid. Do you know what I mean? There's something magical about this kid, and he's confidence. And I want to use arrogance in the right way as well. I don't want people to get it twisted. Like, he's got arrogance where he's confident that what he's going to do on the pitch.
It's a confident arrogance. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a who the fuck are you? Basically, I'm a peasant.
Yeah.
It's that arrogance that the great players will always have. Do you know what I mean? Like when Cristiano Ronaldo was a youngster, like he had that arrogance straight away. We all knew what he was about. Do you know what I mean? When he signed for Man United, everyone knew that he was going to go on to be the player he did because he had that arrogance. Do you know what I mean? Wayne Rooney was another one. Do you know what I mean? You look at Robin van Persie, there was another one. Do you know what I mean? He come in, he had that arrogance, but he could back it up on the pitch. And this kid's got it, and he's got it. He don't just he uses it at the right time, but also he backs it up on the pitch. He backs it up in his performances. And I don't think, right, that I've seen a player in his position come in and play as confident as he does at the age of 17, 18 years old. Ashley Cole weren't even doing what he was doing at 18 years old. Do you know what I mean? Ashley Cole weren't doing it. Saka broke through. Do you know what I mean? And he was a very, very good player when he first broke through. But I look at Skelly and I look at Wanyeri, and I think at their age, I think they're ahead. I honestly believe they're ahead in terms of even what a level Saka was at 17, 18 years old. And I never, ever thought I'd say that. But these two kids have just come in and taken the team by storm. They're obviously very grounded in terms of they do the right things, because we know how strict Mikel Arteta is. We know what he wants. We know how he wants everything run and operated. He won't take crap. So they've grown through the system. They know exactly what Mikel Arteta wants, and they're backing it up on the pitch, and he's backing it up on the pitch. And honestly believe that these two players, are going to go on to have incredible careers at hopefully at our club for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the world's there for oyster, and Mikel Arteta's the right manager for him. He'll keep him grounded. He'll keep on the ground and everything. But the one thing I will say is that we do need to protect him at times as well.
Oh yeah.
Because like last Saturday, for example, when he got sent off, do you know what I mean? We all know what it's like with Arsenal Football Club. When something happens, everyone jumps in. Do you know what I mean? Like the Micah Richards old slogan. When something happens, everyone jumps in. There will be times with Waneri and Skelly that there'll be people trying to drag them down. And that's where we're going to have to manage their expectations at times. And I do think there will be a lot of like bringing them in and taking them out of the team again, which is the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like yesterday, Waneri, he could probably start the game and blow it by storm. But you know what? You actually want that player to sometimes for your last 20 minutes just to do what he did yesterday. Do you know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of managing with these two, but as long as they get managed correctly, as long as they stay grounded, the world's their oyster. The world's their oyster.
They just need to stay humble.
Yeah. Was BX in the chat's asking how big of an influence was Jack Wilshere on these two? And starting obviously, Jack was at the game with his two boys yesterday, and afterwards he's obviously having photos of them. And then since that, we've seen photos of when Jack was an Arsenal player, and literally these two lads we're talking about were kids, 10, 11 years old, maybe younger. And obviously, so he's seen them from the early stages of their academy days, basically, literally homegrown days. So he obviously has that emotional attachment himself. He probably worked for him briefly when he was the under-18 coach, especially Miles Miles especially because of his age. Maybe Lewis Skelly, and Waneri maybe at the back end of his time because obviously his age, because he got both his up until the 21s, didn't it? Rather quick, old Ethan. So he'd have worked with him. He got that connect. He probably has that connection with them as well, like Lundberg has with Bukayo, like we've heard before. So there's always that case, and obviously Jack's been there. Like when Jack when he was the under-18s coach, he said the reason why he took on the job at the time was because he was in their shoes, as in a young lad trying to break himself, play for the Arsenal, breaking and all that. He knows who can make the mustard, who can't, but also what it meant to play for the Arsenal one way or the other. And the lads at that time, obviously him as the head coach, were looking at his inspiration basically. So it's also potential, but also there's another comment here from Mark as well. Says as a footballer, Miles is better on the ball than Ashley Cole. Skelly is class. That's a high compliment to give for an 18-year-old. Again, so raw, he's young still.
I think the special thing about him is where you rightly said earlier on, he is a centre midfielder by trade, and you can see that in his game, and he can play that ball, he can play that split ball through the middle. Do you know what I mean? He can play that killer pass. I've seen it a few times now where I'm like, he can make that killer pass. But what he did yesterday, will show me that actually he can advance in them positions, keep the composure, and score you a goal in a big game like that. Like this. Let's be honest. These two kids have just gone and scored against the best team in England for the last 5 years, the European champions the year before last. Like, it can't get much better than that, can it? Like, look, the confidence they're going to breed out of that is going to be incredible. And he's got every single attribute that Mikel Arteta wants in that full-back role. And I'm not sure if Mikel Arteta went at the start of the season or even at the back end of last year, considered him that he was going to be a left back inventor. I don't know. He might have done. He might not have done.
He wouldn't have signed Calafiori.
Well, there's the argument, isn't it? But I do. My personal opinion is I do think, Calafiori hasn't just been brought in as a left back. I do think longer term, I think that centre back role, I think it offers flexibility, don't it? If Gabriel's not there, that he can be that left centre back player to cover him. But Mikel Arteta's landed himself a gem here, and we know Mikel Arteta loves his fullbacks, and he's probably there's another position there that Skelly's probably saved at Arsenal and Mikel Arteta probably 60-70 million. We're being totally honest. And when you think that we're going to lose Tierney and lose his wages, we're going to lose Zinchenko in the summer. I'm adamant of that. We're going to lose Kivior. Actually, we're going to lose these three big players with wages, and actually we've got the two best players to play left back now in terms of Calafiori and Lewis Skelly. So I think it's a very interesting time. I just want to go back over to Jonathan Giles. I'm going to take it totally away from the two youngsters at the moment, and I think it's rightly that we talk about Thomas Partey. But my first question is: would you offer him another deal? Would you offer him another 1 to 2 year deal?
With the season he's having at the moment, it's probably, to be honest, hand on heart, I think it's probably his best season he's having since he joined. He's probably at his most fittest. He hasn't been out much at all this season. And in the big games, he's really performed well. The goal against City yesterday, he took that ball and just smashed it. But I wouldn't have any faults giving him another season, if not two. Himself, Odegaard and Rice. That midfield is really strong. It gives Rice the ability to go forward. And Partey, he just cleans things up. And the position he played, I suppose, at Atletico Madrid, it's that defensive midfielder. You can see he's shown that quality again. Having him at, having him at fullback, I don't think has been his best.
No.
But when he's definitely when he's in midfield, though, he's probably the best in Europe. Henry, if that, he's going, he's in his 30s now, isn't he? But I'd see no reason not to give him another at least year or two. Liam, yeah, it's a good shout that actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the boat now that I think take out the right back position, because it's not his fault he's had to go right back. I can't tolerate him at right back. And this is nothing against Thomas Partey as it goes. He's not good enough to be right back. Do you know what I mean? In that position, but he's had to go in there. But Thomas Partey had at the start of the season was our best centre midfielder. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't. The stats don't lie. When Thomas Partey plays right back, we barely win. But when Thomas Partey plays right centre mid with Declan Rice, we rarely lose. Do you know what I mean? And I think by giving him another year to 2 year deal, I think with the amount of games that we're seeing in the Premier League and the Champions League now, with the 8 games in the group stages, do you know what I mean? We're going to look to go far. I think we should be looking to go far, especially next season with the squad we'll have in terms of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And that should be an expectation now moving forward, because it ain't acceptable going out in the FA Cup in the third round for the last few years. But I think, with the amount of games, we can manage Thomas Partey's kind of expectations around that. And I think at the moment I think it's a special time to be at the club. It's in terms of, like John said, in the summer, we're definitely going to go and buy a striker. Apparently, Subamendi's going to come in. Do you know what I mean? If Thomas Partey wants to be part of that and do you know what I mean, come in and out of the team, or just rotate a little bit with the likes of Declan Rice and Subamendi, you start looking at that squad, don't you? And you start thinking, if we can get that striker in, we can keep Thomas Partey and get Subamendi in, and maybe find a left winger as well. You start looking at the very top end, don't you? You start looking at the very top end, because I honestly believe that this is a freak season for Liverpool. Salah's going to leave. Trent Arnold's probably going to go. They're not going to have the same. Yeah,
Van Dijk as well.
They're not going to have the same season next year. We've already put the statement down to Manchester City now, so they know who the hell we are. Do you know what I mean? They know we're not to be messed with anymore. And you start looking at it, don't you? And you think, after this season, and I don't like going down this road because I thought we should have been there this season, but if we bring in these kind of players for next season, there is no excuse, is there? We need to be winning the Premier League. We do need to be winning the Premier League with these players. We do need to be competing at the back end of the Champions League, whether it's semi-finals, finals, with a squad with that calibre. As long as you can keep the likes of Saliba, the Gabriels in the club as well. This for me, this summer is the summer that should have been last summer, but there's no excuses now for this summer. This summer has to be the summer that we lay down that final piece and go for it and get everyone off our back. Because even today, you hear the likes of Simon Jordan and all that, don't you, coming out going, well, it's all right beating Man City 5-1, but when are you going to start winning trophies? We need to get that off our back, in my opinion. Now we need to win trophies, and we do. Let's be honest. We need to go to Newcastle on Wednesday, be very positive, and go for the juggler, because we could easily go there on Wednesday night and beat them, We can easily go there and get the 2 goals and get it back to level peggings. I've got no doubt in me we can do that. But we do need to start now competing and winning trophies, in my opinion.
Definitely agree. And then with the Partey thing as well, obviously it looks like Jorginho's going to go. I think he's got an agreement. Was it Flamingo? Was that in Brazil? Yeah, so it looks like he's going. So it would be a no-brainer, really, just to keep Partey for another year or two if you want the experienced person in midfield, especially if Mendy does come. But it eases the pressure on him as well. But yeah, definitely, Liam, you're right. I mean, we talk about we'll be spending big money again, and if we don't win anything this year, then the pressure is big time on Arteta next year to deliver, because people will be saying, "Well, hang on, you spent all this money now, you haven't won anything for quite a few years." Yeah, and he'll know that as well. I mean, you know, but yeah, his cups. Well, I mean, I do actually quite fancy us on Wednesday. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I fancy us every game, to be honest. But I mean, the home leg, obviously being there. I mean, we didn't actually play that bad finish, whereas they didn't play that great. My worry is Isak has been rubbish since, and so I hope he's going to carry on. But he hasn't scored a goal at home for a few weeks. But no, our tails will be up, and we've got to go there. And we've got to attack. I mean, we have to score, so we can't sit back and muck about. I think
they're
very interesting.
They're in an interesting situation, aren't they, Wednesday, Newcastle? Because do you know what, right? I said it at the time when we lost to him. I said the best thing that happened in this, right, and it's very weird that this situation's happening because it's never happened before, is that the second leg was 4 weeks after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's since that time, right? Newcastle gone out of form and we've gone into form.
And we've got all our players back, more or less, bar like the long-term ones.
So it's an interesting game, isn't it? Because I think if the game had been played the week after, Newcastle would have gone on and won that quite comfortably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but it hasn't. It hasn't, Jonathan. And there's a big opportunity there, isn't there? Like they lost 4-1 to Bournemouth at home. They got beat by Fulham last week at home. They're obviously looking at this game as well. It's not. Like, I'm not getting it kind of twisted and think that they're not looking at this game, because they're probably really motivated for this game, because you've got a final at the end of this if you win it. But as it goes, like if Bournemouth can go there and score 4 goals, why can't we?
Yeah, I think Newcastle at the weekend against Fulham, they went 1-0 up, didn't they? Fulham came back at them. I think they'd 1 eye on Wednesday. I think it's going to be massive, the first team to score on Wednesday evening. You know, I think it has to be us, because if we end up going 1-0 down to St James's Park, you know how raucous the atmosphere can be. You know, that's their really Carabao Cup final, you could say. You know, Wednesday night, you know, it's one of those grounds for ourselves that we always seem to trip up. You know, it's after last season there, and Isak had scored, didn't he, back in November, and that 1-0 defeat. But after seeing that result against Man City yesterday, I'd be very surprised if the likes of Ethan and Murray doesn't start from the start on Wednesday evening. You know, I think that'd be the ideal game for him, you know, to cause the Newcastle fullbacks problems. I think when you get at them, and Dubravka in goal can be shaky as well, you know, from crosses and corners. So if we can get it to 2-2, you know, within the 90 minutes, I fancy our chances in extra time, and if not penalties, to be honest, you know. But I think the first goal is massive on Wednesday evening. You know, I think we have to really hit the ground running like we did. Really from the start, we need to hit the ground running. But I think the boys will be up for it. You know, with this break coming up, I think they want to finish on a high before we head back in the Premier League. And I think, is it a 15 against Leicester? Yeah, but I agree with you, Liam. I couldn't see us not scoring 2 at least on Wednesday evening.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Definitely. Going to you, Ryan. Obviously, I know we watched the first game, didn't we? Which was an absolute nightmare game. But we had the chances, didn't we? It weren't like we didn't have the chances. Martinelli at the post earlier on. Do you know what I mean? These are the clinical moments now, isn't it, where we have to put that ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Literally, as you say, we all fucking 2-1 Chelsea. As I say that, we are.
Is it? I didn't even know it was 1-0.
Stay humble, lads. Stay humble.
Score for Chelsea.
Carl Palmer FC.
Oh, Jesus.
No,
I've had so many in my scores. That's quite nice to know. Yeah,
no,
okay. Softens a blow.
but no, like Liam, you were saying, that the first leg we weren't crap, we weren't awful. We just didn't take our chances, and Newcastle weren't their best. But they took Ed Isaac, who took their two chances that fell to him. He took them. We just got to go there, as I say. Bit of confidence as well, bit of form we put together. Obviously, the back of a 5. No matter how bad Man City are this season, back of a 5-1 win on home turf, 5 different goal scorers without a striker. We're going to have to go there and do the same again, sort of thing, basically, in terms of, but literally take the chances, no matter how many they come, just take them. Hit, I think the first goal, if we get the first goal and it's early, that's when it's going to be interesting. Because that's it. That's how Newcastle react then, because then obviously they're still 2-1 up, but they've got to decide, did they stay resolute and try and have a counter-attack? Or
they'll get very twitchy.
Or do they twitch and go open up, and either way it plays into our hands that way as well.
And even if they score, worst case scenario, they even score first, it doesn't change our game plan because we still have to score anyway. So we're just going to throw people through. So, you know, it would be a disaster, but it wouldn't be the worst thing because we've got to go there and attack as well. You know, we have to. We can't afford not to. We've got to score. So,
yeah.
In terms of Wednesday though, like I think we're on agreement that we think one area will start Wednesday. Do you think there's a chance that he might take Skelly out of Wednesday and put Calavori back in? Just I just get this feeling that he's quite reluctant to play both of them at the same time with their young ages. Or do you think potentially they both could start on Wednesday? I'll go with you, John, on that one.
See, I think he might not start on Ranieri. I think he might start with more or less the same team that did the job yesterday, I think. I mean, yeah, I would be surprised if he did start, because I think as great as he's doing, I just think in the so-called big games, not reluctant, but I just think he's maybe not trying to put the pressure on him. And let's face it, if he comes on half hour ago, we need a goal, I'd rather him come on than Trossard. Because he will scare the life out of old Dan Lanky Byrne. And he's him running at him. He won't want that with 25 minutes to go if he's had other people running at him. I think Lewis Skelly will play. I mean, Calafiori could come in. I do worry that he might even start Sterling because he has been playing in the cup games. I know it's a big game, but I wouldn't be surprised. And he didn't actually do that bad in the Champions League game, give him his due. I'm not a massive fan. I know I don't want it either, Liam. But I don't
think he can. I think because there's no Premier League game Saturday, I think he has to go for the strongest 11.
I hope you're right, but yeah, I mean,
Wembley's.
He's got to go for it. Yeah, he's got to go for it. Yeah. I mean, he could be an even weird lineup. He could go proper attacking. He could have one of those weird midfields, like he did before, and have Havertz in the middle with Odegaard and Rice, and he could have Martinelli, Trossard, and an area up top. You don't know, really don't know, but. We have to score, so he's got to go for it.
I think he'll go for the strongest 11. I think that as long as they're all fit, I think like this is the first time that I can remember that we're actually going to like a game where actually we got our back four. We've got Declan Rice and Partey in centre midfield with Odegaard, and I know we haven't got Saka, but at the end of the day, I think Nwaneri's an incredible replacement at the moment. That actually we are pretty much near to full strength for this game. And it's a big game for them. And coming out of the Man City game, they're going to be really high in confidence. But if they can overturn this could be a massive part of the season, couldn't it, really? Because the confidence it'll bring the squad in terms of what they've done at Man City. And if they can go to Newcastle and get the result that they want, after having that 2-goal deficit, then I think it'll breed so much good confidence. And then going to Dubai, that they can kind of go and then concentrate on themselves for a week before we come back into the Premier League. So I don't think there's going to be anything clever Wednesday. I think you're right. I think the only potential selection question marks would actually be, will he start one area or will he continue with Trossard and Martinelli? I've got this feeling that he'll rest. I've got a feeling Trossard will be on the bench. I think he'll go. I've got this really feeling that he's going to go Martinelli in one area. And I think that potentially it'd be interesting if he goes in one area, whether he does play Skelly or doesn't play Skelly. But do you know what I mean? I'm quite easy if Calafiori or Skelly starts. He might look at the Calafiori a bit more height for that game, especially with Newcastle with set pieces. He's at, do you know what I mean? That certain stuff that might come into consideration with set pieces. But do you know what? Like, we've been to Newcastle the last 2 years and we've controlled the game and done nothing. They're like, no disrespect to Newcastle.
We're due a win up there.
Yeah, no disrespect to Newcastle. They're a good team. But when we've lost it, I've been really frustrated because our performances have been pretty subdued there. And it's not because we haven't had all the ball, because we've had all the ball. Like, Eddie Howe's tactically set them up superbly against us, if we're being frankly honest, for quite 3 out of 4 games. So that's a battle Arteta's going to have to try and win now on Wednesday night, because Eddie Howe has seemed to get a little bit of a number over us over the last few games. But we just need to finish our opportunities, and that's the big piece. Is Martinelli going to finish a chance if it comes to him? He needs to be clinical. Is Havertz going to finish a chance if it comes to him? Big question marks. Let's see what we do Wednesday night, I guess.
The good thing with yesterday as well, the bonus, Odegaard was back to his usual self yesterday. That was the best game he's had for quite a while. He looked like the Martin Odegaard we love. I want to make love to.
Yeah.
And so he's going to that game. Obviously, he scored a goal. I mean, a nice little tap in. But again, more confidence. Hopefully, that means he might shoot a bit more. I'm trying not to get carried away, but I do think we're going to win. But yeah, they're full of confidence. It's there to be got at. And Newcastle should be shitting themselves.
Well, they lost at the weekend for them as well.
They know what the pressure's on them now. Everyone's expecting them to go through. I know we won yesterday, but they're still the favourites. They're 2-0 up.
Yeah, 2-0 up. Yeah.
So all the pressure's on them. If they blow it, they'll get a lot of bottle job accusations. Blah blah blah. And obviously, as well, if they do go out, it's more pressure on them losing Isaac as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Plus, on the plus side, even bigger plus side, we'll be at Wembley for this season.
Exactly. Apparently, Joe Linton's a doubt as well. I don't know if someone said a rumour today he was down in London seeing a specialist. So I don't know how true that is, but apparently he's a doubt, which is good because he's just fouls people anyway. But
who's that, sorry?
He is important to them. Defensively, Joe Linton, that'll be a big blow for them because he saves our players a few lumps, missing out of the legs. But no, it'd be good if he's not playing.
Let's have a little bit of a look at the transfer market now. Like, I know, obviously, we're sitting around an hour and 20 minutes away.
Who cares?
When the closing, not much. Winners and losers in the transfer market. Who do we think the winners are of the transfer market at the moment? Because I think it's been a bit of an interesting transfer market, isn't it? In terms of certain clubs have had to do anything. Certain clubs have had to do stuff because performances and all that. But I'm going to obviously scrutinise a little bit on Aston Villa at the moment because obviously we did put the Ollie Watkins bid in. Obviously, Duran leaving. I want to get your kind of thoughts on that. I'm going to go to you, Jonathan, first on that one because it's really weird for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, they got this guy in, they pay. Like, don't get me wrong, the business they made on him is incredible business, but it don't sit right with me, mate. Like, the guy's 21 and he's gone out to Saudi Arabia now. I know there's a lot of money involved. I know how much money is involved, but the Premier League's supposed to be the best league in the world, and he's leaving to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, well, from what I was looking at on Facebook yesterday, he says it was his boyhood dream. I don't think even Al-Nassr even existed before then, but yeah, definitely the money was probably the headliner there. It was like Robbie Keane, one of our own. Every club he went to, he says it was his boyhood dream, so he had a lot of dreams come true as a kid. I think if what the money was thrown at me, I'd probably say it was a boyhood dream as well. I think himself and Ronaldo speak the right tune for the I think. But I think with the season he's having, I think to be honest with you, I think Emery could have changed up his formation and had Watkins and Duran as a front two. They were that good. I think they could have worked well together. But I think, the goals he was scoring this season, he scored a screamer against, I think it was Everton early on this season, and I suppose if Al-Nassr didn't come in for him, I would have hoped Arsenal would have put in, a decent fee in this transfer market for him. But I think, like, I was talking to a fan there in where I work, and he was saying, like, you might take two or 3 years in Al-Nassr, make a bit of money, be comfortable, and then still be able to be at an age to come back to the Premier League. That could be his way of thinking as well. But I think with the season he was having at Villa and with them still in the Champions League and all, and a chance of, could win a cup or two, I thought it was very odd to go there at that age. It's most players that go to Saudi Arabia nearly at the end of their career was, if it was his boyhood dream, you can't fault him, can you?
Nah.
I think there was that was a head turner, but I think you're right, Liam. I think that was a very odd. I don't know whether he wasn't getting on when Unai Emery there at the end as well. I think he was frustrated being left on the bench all the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he just thought he was on the start every game. But yeah, I would have loved him at Arsenal. I think he would have been a perfect fit. But if his attitude isn't right, we all know with Arteta, like for example, Aubameyang, if your head isn't in it for the club, you're not going to be part of the plan. So yeah, it was a very odd move for me, but no doubt the money was when you're that young, it's a head turner, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The other one I'm going to go to. The other one I'm going to go to on this one, John. Marcus Rashford. He's obviously gone to Aston Villa from Manchester United on loan at the moment. I believe it's not He's not an obligation to buy, is it? Like at the moment. What's your thoughts on that one? Because obviously it's gone very sour for Rashford over the last couple of years. Obviously, Emeron's come in and definitely not his cup of tea whatsoever. But for me, Marcus Rashford has a lot to offer still. Do you know what I mean? He's got a bad foul pace. He knows where the goal is. He's turned up at the Emirates a few times. Can he get back into any kind of form for Aston Villa? Is that Aston Villa a good move for him?
I mean, what I will say, I'm glad we haven't got to play Villa again because he does love a goal against us. So yeah, no, I think not being funny. I mean, as much as I'm sure he's done this and I'm sure he's done that, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Manchester United at the moment. So I think he's wherever he is at the moment because it's a cesspit. Let's be honest. This new manager's come in and he's spent 5 weeks going from 13th place to 13th place. Why would you want to be there? I mean, they're not creating anything. Yeah, I think he'll have a great time at Villa. He'll get on well with all the players. He's got Marvin Rodgers, Ollie Watkins around him, creating chances. I think he'll do really well there. I think he's still got a lot to offer. I said to you the other day, I did wonder we were going to end up with him.
Yeah, I think it's been discussed quite a bit, isn't it?
And again, I do wonder if Arteta's looked at all the issues all around him and not the baggage, but sadly all the rumours and everything. I mean, he hasn't, we don't know the full story, whether we ever will. He's supposed to have done this, probably been out clubbing before games, which is obviously a no-no. End of the day, I presume he'll do well at Villa. I would have thought he's away from Manchester. I think it's probably the best thing for him. He ain't going to play for him again, is he?
No, yeah. I think that is definitely his time done there, isn't it? I think it all depends now how he kind of executes himself. And do you know what? Well, I was thinking about this the other day. Liverpool still will go to Aston Villa in a few weeks' time. Mm-hmm. So if they keep Watkins and they get Rashford in, that'd be an interesting game for Liverpool. Yes. And that is definitely a game where I can see them dropping points. Mm. So fingers crossed Marcus Rashford does turn up and bangs in a goal against them. So that's an interesting one. I'll tell you another interesting, weird one that's just popped up. There's Willian. Ryan going back to Fulham.
He loves West London, doesn't he?
Yeah. Willian's going to go back to Fulham.
How old is he? About 50? What is he?
I thought he retired.
So this is his second coming, I think.
How old is he?
He's got to be about 37, 38, isn't he?
He's got to be, yeah. Christ.
Why have they got him back?
They just got rid of him 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't end up with us, I don't really care. Bloody sexy. Here's the winner of the Royal Rumble. There he is.
Hey.
I was disappointed. I put it on the other day and you weren't winning. I thought, where is he? I am watching this.
How exciting is tonight, lads? Hey?
He's now on the telly.
Our few accounts he's going up now, mate. It's like ching, 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 ching. James is on.
It's been going already, but this is it's going to go boom.
The top's coming off now as well. Right?
There we go. That's what we want.
So until you kind of I wouldn't say rudely interrupted us. We was just kind of having a chuckle about Willian going back to Fulham.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, that's mental. What?
That just sums up the January transfer window, doesn't it? It's just pointless.
It's just, yeah.
Fucking Willian, he loves it.
It's bizarre. It is completely bizarre. That's just, until it was mentioned and obviously it's been checked, it's verified. Like, you got rid of him. You didn't seem good enough 6 months ago. Now suddenly, you're squad worthy now.
He's not going to get in a team, is he?
No.
Another player that's going back to West Ham, James Ward-Prowse. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he hasn't really got into the Nottingham Forest team whatsoever.
No.
So that'd be interesting whether he can get himself back in with a new manager. And just a bit of a thought around that, guys. I'm going to go to you, Jonesy, on this one. Obviously, Graham Potter's taken over. Do you think he's a good appointment for West Ham?
Yeah, I think he's kind of the right fit in it for a club like West Ham. He's not going to pull up too many trees, but he'll keep them up. Basically, yeah, crap and crap together. But yeah, it'd be a good fit for them. I mean, he's got a new manager's bounce at the moment. Well, they were until they started losing now, weren't they? So it'd be interesting. It depends though. With West Ham, it's always the board if they'll back him and give him players and stuff like that. But to be honest, I fucking hate West Ham, so I hope they do shit and he goes down.
Right, calm down, Ty. Calm down.
Cool, mate. Don't hold back, will you, mate?
Go on, the Annals.
Jonesy, what was your rule about in terms of obviously our striker situation? Obviously, we've all had a bit of a discussion around it already. What's your kind of thoughts going into the last hour? Are you disappointed that we haven't brought someone in to cover for Havertz or someone to go beside him, especially with the Gabriel Jesus situation? Saka probably not going to be back to the end of March. Or do you think that potentially it is the right thing to do and we should wait till the summer where we can get our number one target?
I'm disappointed because it was only 3 days ago we've put in a bid in for Ollie Watkins, so there's obviously a hole there that he wants plugging. And to go into today now with nothing, it kind of just tells you, right, we're going to have to just deal with what we got. And God forbid, if Havertz picks up an injury, we'll be sitting here talking about Trossard up front. So it's not good enough, if you ask me personally. We're challenging for a title. We're still in the Champions League in the next stages. And to go into this second part of the season, we've seen it before. We've seen it the last few years. It's happened. It's bit us on the arse. And unfortunately, lads, it's going to happen again, if you ask me. It's just crazy that there's no one, because there is someone we can get, because we've tried to get him 3 days ago. So don't tell me we're waiting till the summer and there's no one to get. There isn't a right player. There is a right player because you identified him 3 fucking days ago. Why is it taking 3 days ago? Go for him at the beginning of the window before John Duran got sold. We might have had a chance then.
Yep.
What fucked me off the most is...
And he wouldn't have scored against us, and we would have won the game.
Exactly. What fucks me up is we're lastminute.com. Every fucking transfer window we sit here, and it feels like Christmas Eve, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and I ain't got a PlayStation 5. I've got a fucking Game Boy. Do you know what I mean? That's how fucking shit it feels. But we've sat here many years, Liam. How many times have we done this show? And last year we got fucking Raheem the Dream, who's better off back than he is thing, but. I don't know. This day is just fucking like my anniversary. I dread it.
Crap at it.
Oh, bloody hell.
Just to let you know, Jonesy, we did win 5-1 yesterday.
I know, that's what I mean. It takes the tarnish off of that, doesn't it, a bit? And it was great to beat them bastards yesterday, but
strike by the iron top.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm just worried.
Yeah, do you think there's a little bit, and I said, I spoke about this earlier on, like with obviously the emergence now, one area and like what he's doing in game out situation. Do you think there's a little bit of that in the back of the mindset? Is it even? And I wonder what you guys think. Could they even consider maybe putting him as like a full striker? Could he play that role? Like, it wouldn't surprise me with him. Where I think he could literally play everywhere. Is there potential that he might even play in that role if needed?
I've heard Neto's going up front.
It's just a lot to ask, isn't it, for these? Thank God we've had the likes of Lewis Skelly and then where he come through, for us. Because if they didn't, we could be sitting here talking about Partey being up front.
But he's played everywhere else.
Exactly. So might as well. But it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating.
It is very frustrating because, like you said, don't I say I told you so? You know, I'm not that smug bastard that'll do that, but I'm going.
But
When he messaged me the other day, I goes, "Mate, you're getting sucked in here with the
Mm.
old Ollie Watkins." And this is what it's like being an Arsenal fan, isn't it? Like you get through a window, there is nothing, and he gets about 3-4 days before the end of the window, and then there's an explosion. Arsenal being linked with this, Arsenal being linked with that, and you get the Ollie Watkins one. But for me, I look ahead of things and I think, why are Aston Villa going to sell Ollie Watkins in January? Like, what? If I was an Aston Villa fan, I'd be absolutely fuming if I sold my number 1 striker and number 2 striker in January. And can you imagine being the board members, the chairman or the manager, and being on the other end with Aston Villa then went on decline for the rest of that season because they sold Ollie Watkins to Arsenal? And let's be honest, a rival at the end of the day, they're not probably in direct rivalry with us in terms of we're going for like the title and they're probably going for the Champions League, but at the end of the day they are some sort of rival. So it just stunk from the get-go that this is just not doable. This is not doable, this transfer. And for me it was like there was like, is there something else? Is this a smokescreen? Are we trying to trigger Aston Villa to buy someone to start a domino effect as such? Do you know what I mean? But it seems like Watkins was the guy that he identified, but it just wasn't going to happen. It's like Isak, people talking about Isak, like, ain't going to happen in January, mate. You know what I mean? Newcastle can sell their best striker in January. No one sells their best striker in January, and I think that's the problem we've got ourselves into with the January, the summer window. That you ain't getting clubs. Name me a club that goes out and buys someone's number 1 striker in January. Like, I can't remember the last time it happened. Probably going back years and years, like Fernando Torres when he went to Chelsea on a January.
Yeah, true actually. Yeah.
When do you actually ever see a first choice striker move to another club in January? Because clubs can't afford their first choice striker to go in January, and I don't know. I just think that they obviously wanted him, but I just don't think it was ever a doable deal. And it is a shame. It is a massive shame. But I don't look at this window and think, do you know what? This is the problem. This window. I look at the summer and think that was the absolute problem. Last summer was the absolute problem. And I'm still on the side that there's no smoke without fire. There's a reason why Edu left the club. I don't believe he just decided to leave for a sporting reason. I really, really don't believe that, because why would you get the club so close and then walk out? I just don't see it.
It's like a month into the season. It's very strange.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see that whatsoever. So I think there's no smoke without fire with that. I think the summer was a bit of a tragic window. I think the Neto and Sterling deal has tied us in knots as well, because I think they've both been brought in on loan deals where they can't be terminated.
Yeah.
And that's tied us in knots as well, because actually we can't even go out and loan a player, especially in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So I think we have to look back at the summer window, but we have to make, as I said to you before, and I don't really think about this, Jonesy, because we're not going to get the striker in now, it don't seem.
No.
But we have to get it right this summer. There's no more excuses now, isn't there, after this summer? We have to get it right.
It's just, just look at Spurs bringing in, Tell from Bayern Munich. I know we can we loan him abroad?
He doesn't want to go there. Yes, we can.
So that's a player we could have plugged the gap with, for 5 months. But no, it's just, I don't know. It's something. I don't know. We needed bodies. We knew this last January, and then we needed it even more in the summer. And yet we're sitting here again. Why are we sitting here in January still needing what we needed in the fucking summer? It's frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating, because we've seen what's happened already this season. 2 injuries out of that team that played yesterday. We're fucked. Odegaard gets injured. Havertz gets injured. We're going to have a fucking creek with no paddles. It's fucking shitstorm. But it's just frustrating sitting there every fucking deadline day, and we still need the same thing. It's not being addressed. We still need the same thing we needed 2 years ago.
But where have we seen this before? Oh yeah, back when Wenger was here. Year in, year out. For how many years it took us we had Giroud as our striker. We all sat here saying we need upgrade. We need an out striker. He's good, but he can't get us to a title. And by the time we had everything else sorted, by the time we actually got Lacazette and Uber in, we had to address everything else.
The one thing though is that obviously at this moment in time, it is the only position, isn't it, that we desperately need, that I think will take us to the title. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we've pretty much got everything else. I think, like, I'm saying it as the Subamendi deal's probably in the pipe work. I do believe a left winger will be an upgrade sooner or later, but I do think that when you look at Martinelli, you look at kind of Trossard and that I think if they had a striker who's banging in goals with him, I think that takes pressure off them as well. I think sometimes because we haven't got the striker who's scoring the goals, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the likes of the Martinellis and Sakas that they have to deliver it, get game in, game out. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, to a certain extent, they were doing that. And I think Saka's gone obviously to another level where Martinelli's kind of stalled at a certain level. But we are one position away. But my only concern is William Saliba. Do you know what I mean? Like, at some point, Real Madrid are going to come knocking on that door. Like, we know that the Real Madrid team has got a lot of the French players in there. Kylian Mbappe, Camavinga. Do you know what I mean? There's a few of them, isn't there? That is my only concern. And it's vital that we keep this guy, isn't it, for at least another 2-3 years. But to keep this guy, you've got to win trophies. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to start winning trophies. Then that's the be all end all of it all, isn't it? Like, if Thierry Henry weren't winning trophies at Arsenal, he probably never would have been an Arsenal legend because he would have gone somewhere else. But because he was winning trophies, he stayed with us and become that legend. How long do we think that we can keep hold of William Saliba? Because it's my only concern at the moment. It is my only concern if Real Madrid come knocking.
For me, it's not just him. It's Gabriel, it's Saka, it's all the young ones we've got. I mean, if I'm a player like sitting in that dressing room, and we're on our knees because we need players. They know the players ain't stupid. They know, and what's the club showing these players for the intent of the club going forward? We need bodies. They're not bringing them in. Players are going to start thinking.
Declan Rice said it in his interview the other week. He said, "Oh yeah, we know we're going to get someone in." It's ridiculous.
And you've got to think they're sitting there thinking, like, fucking hell, we're doing all what we can. Give us a bit of help here. And, if they don't see the club's ambitious enough, the players certainly ain't going to stay. They ain't going to, they're going to think, what the fuck's going on here? Why am I wasting my career here if the club ain't backing the manager or, helping us to get fucking players through the door? It's just, it's a worrying. All this, we're good. Yes, we've got a great future, a great academy. We've seen the boys come up. But there's still these bits and bobs that are around this club that are going to cause us more harm than good. And it's the likes of not, supporting Arteta and getting these players. I mean, you just don't know what it is, do you? Edu fucked off, obviously because he missed targets in the summer. That's what it was. I know me and Liam, we've spoke about it enough, saying that there's a lot not been told there. And he's got a lot to answer for, that barbecue cooking cunt. But I just... I'm just full of frustration. It's every transfer window. Every transfer window. It's past 10 o'clock now, so we're good for the watershed.
Go on, Sam. Let it all out.
Just going to ask you a question, Jonathan. Would it become a concern for you about Mikel Arteta if he feels that he's not being backed and he's not getting the targets that are coming in? Could there be a point where Mikel Arteta starts getting really frustrated? Is he frustrated because he's come out and said what he needs? The players have come out and said what they need, but we're still not getting them players in.
Yeah, I think losing Edu in the seas was a big blow. He was kind of Arteta's go-to man, but I think it's more probably if like we're playing great football and like we're competing with Liverpool, at the top of the table. If we're not winning trophies, it's more of a case of much patience if the board go with Arteta. But like it's a good point as well. Yeah, is he getting the players that he wants, and is the funds being released? I'm sure Arteta wanted a striker this transfer window. I'm sure Ollie Watkins was probably top of that list. If not Joe and Duran. But it's if he's not getting the players he wants, does his patience wear thin? Like it's. What's this? He's here since 2019. He's building a great squad, but we're just lacking. I think, as you said, we're lacking that one position, an out-and-out striker, 20 goals a season. I think a good loan signing, I think, for ourselves would have been the likes of Evan Ferguson. I think West Ham got a good one there. He's got good aerial threats.
Vlahovic, Juventus, I would have taken Juve bloke. Vlahovic, I would have had him.
Yeah, Vlahovic. Yeah, we were in for him last January as well, weren't we? Dusan Vlahovic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just very annoying. It's like you need to be hitting the ground running the minute that transfer window opens. You need to be getting your business done early. As Jonesy said, they're leaving it to the last minute and nothing happening. It just infuriates fans. And 2 or 3 days before the window closes, all these names come about and nothing happens. It is a bit worrying. Every transfer window we're not getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just worry. Like, is he going to get frustrated? Like, I think the problem is, right. I think he's played it down with his interviews. Do you know what I mean? Bigging up the club, saying they're going to do what they're going to do, but I do worry behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? If he's still thinking, like, there's no way he's putting objectives to finish second every year. Do you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people say, yeah, he spent a lot of money, and yeah, he has spent a lot of money. But when we took over this team in 2020, I know he won the FA Cup very short term, but we was in quite a shit way, and we probably would have never thought we'd have been competing for titles in the next 3-4 years. But there becomes a point, doesn't there? If he doesn't, not even getting the support where he thinks that he's not even getting that player just to get him through to the end of the season, that does kind of slightly concern me. But I think at the moment, seeing that performance yesterday will kind of, I don't want it that it brushes it under the carpet, because it shouldn't brush it under the carpet whatsoever. And let's be honest, I still think we're capable of going to games and then not scoring that goal. And then looking back at the end of the season, going, oh, well, what if we'd scored that goal against Fulham, or what if we'd scored that goal against Bournemouth? Do you know what I mean? I still think that capability is there where we don't get that goal. And when the game becomes very low block and very frustrating and we can't break that team down, I still think there's that capability there that comes across against us. So I do think Arteta will be really disappointed deep down. There's no way a manager of his level didn't want someone else in to kind of support the end of the season. And I'm frustrated. I know obviously a lot of fans will be frustrated, but then I do flip down the other side of the coin, and I sit there and I think, well, there's no point just getting anyone in, and then we'll end up stuck with them for the end of the season. But when it gets to the summer, and I'll keep saying it, this summer they have to deliver now. The club has to deliver, and then Arteta needs to then deliver with the team that he's got next season. Because, like John rightly said, we know now that 100% or 99.9% that a striker's going to come in next summer. Do you know what I mean? We know that Subamendi's going to come in next summer. There's no reason at that point, as long as you keep the rest of these players, you should not be winning the league. As I said, Liverpool, I think this is a freak season for them. We as I said, Man City, we've totally destroyed yesterday. Like, we put a statement down against them now. There ain't anyone else near our level in the league. Let's be honest, Chelsea ain't nowhere near our level at the moment. Do you know what I mean? You look at the competition. Nottingham Forest, yeah, they're having a brilliant season, unbelievable season, but they're nowhere near our level. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle, like they're the team that come across against us all that time, but they're nowhere near us in terms of level. And this is the piece now, isn't it? I think next year there is nowhere to turn for the club, because actually Man City, I think now this ain't where Man City can turn it back on next year. I'm sorry, too much has happened this year with that team for them to be able to just turn it back on and then go like what they were like 3-4 years ago. I think there's going to be a big rebuild there, if I'm being frankly honest, in the next 2-3 years.
In the Championship.
Yeah, well, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Even better conference. But do you know what I mean? There's no. You look at the level of our performance yesterday. You look at what we can produce, and you sit there and you think we're so close. But next year it has to be the year. If we don't get over the line this year, like, and I don't want to be that person who keeps saying next year, because I know a lot of people get frustrated with that. But there is nowhere to turn next year. There literally is nowhere to turn next year, because, as I said, Liverpool, they're probably going to lose some big players. Man City, I don't believe are going to come back, that team, for a number of seasons now, or at least 1 or 2 seasons. And I look at Chelsea's team, and I look at the Newcastles, I look at the Aston Villas. If we got our best 11 out, they ain't coming near us. They're not coming near us over a course of a season. So, yeah, very frustrating. On that note, though, we are going to get this very soon. Robert moved to Sheffield United.
And just say,
Okay. I think the annoying thing as well, lads, we know that Gabriel Jesus, he was going to be that 20 goal a season striker, but it's the injuries that's just plagued him. I think if fit Jesus without knee injuries, he could have been that 15-20 goal a season striker. I think Arteta was hoping on that when he signed him. You know, he had such good ability, but I think City knew what they were doing at the time, getting rid of Jesus. You know, I think they knew that injury problem was going to flare up again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big blow, isn't it? Because we got him back finally scoring goals again.
Yeah.
And he was the kind of player I think he was a brilliant player away from home, especially away from home in the Emirates. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's that kind of player that, do you know what I mean? Especially on the counter attack, he could produce certain moments like he did at Palace a few weeks ago, weren't it, at Selhurst Park? And I don't think he's the answer, but I think before that injury was the best we ever see of Gabriel Jesus. And unfortunately, these 2 injuries now it's probably going to be very hard for him to come back, I think, especially at the level we're going to be at next year. You would have thought, as long as we get a top striker in.
Yes,
so.
And also, we have not really touched on Liverpool. Obviously, we don't know what's 3 of their players. We don't know if they're going to be here or not next season. Key players for them: the captain, Trent. We assume is going to Madrid, and the guy that's getting them all the goals, Salah. If even if 2 to 3 go, Van Dijk stays out of loyalty. You still got to place two players, and Conor Bradley, as good as he is, that's a big call for him to again step up and be the regular guy, and then you still got to place the goals to the level of Salah.
I do think that next year they won't be at the level they are this year. I don't think so. I really don't. I think they peaked this year. They've done really, don't get me wrong, they've done superbly well this year. To top the Champions League group, to be top of the Premier League, fair dibs to them. Do you know what I mean? Like Mo Salah's the best player in the Premier League this season at present. Like absolute incredible season he's had. Well, he's been incredible since he's been in the Premier League, but isn't he? Take Chelsea out of it, but I don't think Liverpool next year. I think they will find it a bit tougher next year. Like, as you said, and you've got to think with Alisson as well, he might start sitting there thinking, do you know what I mean? There might be offers coming in for him. Like, these Saudi Arabia offers, mate, these guys got to make a final payday check, ain't they? Like, why would you turn it down? It's ridiculous money. I know it's a bit hypocritical, it says about Duran, but it's totally different player at 21 to a player at 34.
Yep.
Yeah. The end of
last payday.
Yeah,
but
he inherited a squad, though. You know, he's been lucky that he inherited such a good team. You know, I've never seen a manager to come into a club that inherited such a good squad. You know, he's kind of like what Guardiola. Every time he moved Barcelona and Munich and City, he had the foundation there, hadn't he, of building a good team. You know, he's never had a team that's been struggling. You know, and I think he's been found out, Guardiola, this season. You know, he can't really turn around, which has been. Shows what Arteta has done in 5 years, from the shit show that he came into to what we have now. You know.
Yeah, no, you're back now. Honestly, you are bang on. You're bang on there, and it's interesting seeing how managers cope now, isn't it? Now that they're the foot's on the other boot as such. But what I was going to say before I end the show, just going to do your normal predictions for Wednesday. Obviously massive game as we spoke about earlier on. It's a trip to Wembley at stake. We went to Anfield in '89 and scored 2 goals when we needed to, and we're going to do you know what I mean? We need that kind of special performance, but even a third this time round. Can we do it, Jonathan, and what would the scoreline be for you?
I think if we get the 4th goal in that game and silence the St James's Park crowd, I think we can go on and beat them. I think hand on heart, it'd be probably 2-0. If we can get it to 2-2 at the 90 minutes, I think we'll beat them in extra time, and if not, penalties. So I'd be very confident after what I've seen yesterday against City. I think we can do them at St James's Park. Yeah.
Brilliant. Love to hear that. Jonesy, you sharing the same confidence for Wednesday?
No, absolutely not.
We've heard of this. Stay humble. You need to be positive.
Big Man City 5-1, mate.
I know we did, but don't know. I'll go with my heart, and I say we win 3-0.
That's all we ask.
My head, we lose 3-1.
Fucking hell, Jonesy. Jesus Christ,
I'm not having that, mate. Not about defence.
I fucking hate deadline day. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like Ian Bill, mate. I've got nothing left.
You look like a broken man there.
That's that me betting of the weekend.
Oh dear.
Go on, Gooner, give me your optimism, mate. I know you're going to give me a 5-1 or something like that.
No, 4-1 we're winning. I really fancy us. Haven't we? We're going to absolutely stuff them.
I love that. And Ryan?
Yeah.
We're in form, as I say, as we said earlier. 3-0. I think we do it.
Oh, that'd be lovely. I just hope so.
The third goal to come in the last 5 minutes. Just
Lovely.
to demoralise them right at the end.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go 3-0. I've got to go 3-0.
Hey.
I have to go 3-0. Whether it's in normal time or extra time, but I think we've got the right defence on Wednesday night. Just not let Isak or Gordon score a goal like we usually do. Shut it up tight, but we need, as I said before, we need to finish our chances. That's the big piece.
Does it definitely go extra time if it's 2-0? It doesn't go straight to pens.
There's no away goals. It's extra. No, actually.
I'm
thinking
thinking of the FA Cup, yeah.
Yeah, it's extra time and pens.
The away goals actually are included in extra time for some. It's for a weird, so for some weird reason, they changed the rules or something, so it's actually included in it. So it's. Do you all agree though? Do you think the first goal we have to score the first goal? Would you all agree that in the tie?
Yeah, I think we have to score the first goal.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah,
I think
we're scoring 4 goals, so it doesn't matter the score. It's fine.
You can't be. I think we might sign a striker before 11 o'clock with that optimism.
Let them score. Let them score first. Get them all excited, and then we'll smash them.
Yeah, and then blow their bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't want that to happen, but yeah,
me and
as long as
Jones
you get
doing a naked Congo on Holloway Road. Hey.
He's not saying no.
He knows. He knows full well. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Mate, it's a trip to Wembley, mate. Jones will be down that Holloway Road, mate, on Wednesday night. Trust me.
It'll be fucking freezing. Yeah, we'll be there.
Right. I just want to obviously thank you very much, chaps. It's been an absolute splendid evening, even though we haven't signed no one. It's been a really nice show, so I really appreciate you all coming on. Jonathan, do you want to just obviously mention your show? Just obviously to get the guys to come over to your channels at times, because you do a lot of podcasts over there, don't you, on the Dublin Gooner?
Yeah, we started up, Liam. You've been on to yourself. We started up there in 2021 for, I suppose, lockdown boredom, but it's just growing into 120 odd shows now, which is great. The Dublin Arsenal podcast, you can catch us on our Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and on Spotify and all other social media outlets as well. So, yeah, if you can give us a like and a comment after each show, be appreciated. But I've really enjoyed tonight, lads. There's nothing better than talked about no transfers coming in and transfer deadline day.
At least we had a win.
Don't upset Jones.
About an hour and a half.
Me and Josie are used to it.
I'm glad I didn't bring any bad luck to the show.
Me and Jones happens twice a year, every year.
So only go September.
He can't wait. They bring Raheem Sterling back in on loan for a second season.
Like a new signing.
Don't surprise 2.0.
Obviously, thank you very much, Jonesy, for coming on, mate. I know obviously you was a bit busy earlier on, but I appreciate you coming on, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I was over at Ivory House, but the lights were on, but it was just the cleaners as usual. So, but yeah, no, sorry, I was late. Thanks for having me on.
I thought I saw in the Sky Sports cameras, all right. That was you.
It's just me walking around Ivory House. There's someone there. Nah.
You, but I didn't take Peter. I don't think if he's willing to sign for us, we got a taxi down to him now.
Brilliant, Johnny Brooks. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Always a pleasure.
And Brian, obviously, cheers for coming on as well, mate.
No problem. Thanks for the invite.
And back again Wednesday night, yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday night for the obviously second semi-final, and another semi-final on Wednesday for the girls against Man City. We could have a treble over Man City in space of under a week.
We forgot to
Imagine
mention
that.
that yesterday, didn't we? Yeah. So
Yeah,
well done to the
4-3.
ladies. Well,
Girls-
4-3.
Girls smashed it yesterday, literally.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, great result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed and a double for Wednesday.
Yep. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Glory
And
to
obviously,
Campbell.
thank you for everyone, obviously in the chat who's come in. Apologies. For some reason, when I got exit out, when I come back in, I couldn't see the chat for the rest of the show. So that's the whole reason why I haven't done anything in the chat. But
I've been in control. I've been getting it up. haven't I?
cheers, mate.
No,
I've
Don't worry,
ignored.
mate.
I ignored Gav.
yeah, I was just
peasant.
going to say, it's just Gav talking shit as usual.
Poor old Gav. But he's happy now. We need to. They won 2-1. He's happy.
A valiant 2-1 win. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Not
They were
everyone,
fine.
not
It
everyone
worked-
can beat Man City, Gav.
No
way.
5-1 though.
Here's an interesting story,
The
though.
optimism that
Chelsea,
Chelsea
the only top 6 side of the regular top 6 that haven't beaten City this season.
Oh, interesting stat. That.
Even shitty United beat City.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Relegation fodder Tottenham beat City.
It'd be brilliant if
Chelsea-
City didn't get in the Champions League, wouldn't it? It'd be brilliant if City didn't get in the Champions League.
Come on, Madrid. Hello, Madrid.
Yeah, you're right.
And yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, come and join us Wednesday night for the watch along Newcastle versus Arsenal. It'll be very eventful. I'm sure there'll be some heart racing moments. There'll be some anxiety, and there'll definitely be some swearing. But have a good evening, everyone. Happy transfer deadline day. And Jonesy, go to bed, mate.
Happy Monday.
Good evening.
Bye.
Good night, all.
Thanks, lads. Great job. Okay.